Hey, good morning. I'm getting everybody's live stream getting started. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, replay people. I know this announcement to go live this morning was a little bit last minute, but here we are. It's still going to be a really good time. This morning, I really want to talk about this idea of how being a strong Black woman is costing us our freedom. I think in the past, we've let the idea of being a strong Black woman, this superwoman, all these different ideas of our strength be a badge of honor that keeps us going forward, pushing through, doing all the things. And while I understand why we did that, I also want to give us permission to not have to be that anymore because it's costing us our freedom. It's costing us our rest. It's costing us our self-care. It's making us burnt out. It's um at the end of the day, it's really costing us our dreams. It's making us feel like our dreams are dried up and that all we have left to do is to be strong and to keep working. And I think that's a huge part of what creates some workaholism in us as Black women. And I love to talk about the intersection of both workaholism and how being strong has all of that has come together. So yes, I'm jumping right in. But that's what I want to talk about this morning. So if we get a chance to have some other people live, I would love for you guys to jump in and be a part of the conversation. But in the meantime, I just want to talk about what that looks like. So when I think about what media topics, the conventional wisdom around this says that we should keep working harder because that's what creates success. Working, if you're not successful yet, it's because you haven't worked hard enough. Hey, good morning, all in love in a basket. We're just talking about how being a strong Black woman is actually costing us our freedom. And I also want to talk about how we take it back. Let's be clear. This is not just about talking about how it's cost us our freedom, but how we can take it back. So yes. So yeah, again, that conventional wisdom says, especially for corporate professionals, the business owners, it tells us that we just have to keep pushing forward, that you can't give up. Why you can't quit. Um there's no sign of rest for you because you're the backbone of America. You're the one who's kept us all afloat, right? You are the responsible one. You're the dependable one. So of course you can't sit down, but that is exactly what's costing us our self-care, our rest, our ability to be vulnerable, our ability to settle into our feminine energy, our ability to actually enjoy our lives. Everybody else is enjoying their lives and it's okay. But we have to be the ones that's keeping everything afloat. Just figure it out. Just work 10 times harder. Those are the things that we hear sometimes. Just keep pushing through. Um, just stick it out, right? You can do this. But I'm tired of that. Let me tell you, I am flipping tired of that. All of those things are the things that I remember back in 2016. I actually even earlier than that. Probably I'll say back in like 2007, I started my career specifically in corporate America. And I remember waking up and feeling like I was only like a year out of college and I already felt like my dreams had dried up. What was I going to do next? Like it was that quickly that I was like, there's got to be more to life than this. But I also didn't know what more looked like. How was I going to get it? How Was I going to create this more? And how did I what did more even look like? What was it supposed to be? I was in this place where I was like, I I literally just don't know what to do. I know I want change. I know I'm open to it, but I have absolutely no idea how to get started. So I had to take a step back and I had to think about, if I wasn't doing this, then what would I be doing? And that's still an extremely hard question to answer. It actually took me quitting my job. Actually, it started with paying off my debt. I paid off $69,000 in debt in 2.5 years. And then so once I did that, then I quit my job and I traveled the world for 3 years. And then I finally got to this place where I was able to dream again. I had to get back in touch with who I was instead of being caught up in what I do. It's really easy to get caught up in what we do and to make that our our identity. Make it the most important thing, but I truly believe your job title is not the most important thing about you. There's so much more to um there's so much more to you than your job title. There's so much more to you than actually just there's so much more to you than thinking that that is all that you're worth. Your self-worth goes so much further than that. So, how do you get to that point? How do you get to this place where you get back to who you are and get back to using your identity as your core? Good morning, Elise. I'm so happy you could join this morning. This morning, I'm just having a conversation about what it looks like to get back to our identity and to who we are so that being a strong Black woman is not the core of who we are anymore. That we get to this place where um being who we are, like how we show up and who we want to be becomes the most important thing about us. So, any thoughts, any conversation that you want to add to it, I would love for you to add it in. My accountability partner just called me while we're on this call. So I'm hoping that everything is streaming all right. Let me know if I got any problems going on, okay? But yes. So getting back to this journey, I love the word adventure because I think getting out of the idea of being a strong Black woman, it can seem it's already a deep topic. It's already a hard thing to talk about, but I feel like we can actually make this fun because that's part of it. Part of what we're doing is stepping away from this deep weight of responsibility that we've always had. I mean, I remember 4 years old being a super responsible kid. 6 years old, I was taking the bus by myself from one part of town to the other part of town because my mom was at work. I was learning how to, I remember 4 years old being learning how to iron. I remember learning how to cook at 9. Like we've always been this responsible person, and then it shows up in how we step into our careers. It's almost like our fun, our intuition, our dreaming, it all gets bogged down and really dried up by all the responsibilities of life. And how do we get back to that? So that was where I was getting to. I'm trying to stay on track here, but I'm not on track. Very so, like I said, this is a conversation. That's why this is live and not pre-recorded. It's okay if we have a little tangent here and there. Okay. But so sharing from experience, how did I get back to instead of making what I do the core of who I am and getting back to who I am as the core, I really had to take a step back from all my work, all my roles, and even from my aspirations and my passions. I I love that we want to be more, that we want to be better, but when that becomes an idol, when it becomes a trophy, that we have to be a perfectionist, that we have to be this perfect person in order to fully be ourselves, that's a lie. We were never created to be perfect. So when we step back from all of those things and we just take a look at, who am I? How do I describe myself? Not who I should be, but who I want to be, who I want to show up and be. If I can do that, if I can get back to describing who that person is, then I'm actually really taking a huge step away from that whole pressure to keep being and to keep doing and doing and doing and actually allowing myself to be. I like to think of it like this. Our whole lives, especially us as Black women, we have had mud thrown at us. And it was, you need to, that mud said, you should be this, you should be that. It actually makes me emotional thinking about it. You should be strong. You should be here for everybody. You have to be better than everybody else. You have to be 10 times, you have to work 10 times harder to be acknowledged. You have to go above and beyond to succeed. And it's put so much weight, so much pressure on us that we've forgotten who we are. We've been bogged down by the shoulds. And now it's time to just get back to who we actually are. Elise, thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. Let me add that up here. Elise says, great topic. Having all the responsibilities as everyone else and supposed to do it without becoming a stereotype is exhausting. Trying to do it without becoming a stereotype is exhausting. So right. Being a strong Black woman is exhausting. I agree. I agree. That's what makes me so emotional about it, because this is exactly the part where I say it's costing us our freedom. If you haven't realized that trying to be a perfect Black woman, that trying to be Black excellence, that trying to be the what's the word I'm looking for? The perfect Black woman, if you haven't realized that it's costing you your freedom, that you are chained to it, that it's keeping you from actually living and enjoying your life, from traveling like you want to, from not worrying about your body, from not having to show up for everyone all the time. If you haven't realized that it's costing you your freedom, this is your wake up call. This is your sign right now. Like, this is costing you way too much. It's costing you way too much. This is the burnout that we've all been feeling and we need to let go of. So, okay, I was getting into how I have stepped away from that. So, like I said, stepping back from that. First, we got to acknowledge that all of those things are actually stealing our freedom. Because if if we don't actually get into our mind that it's not okay to keep working harder and harder. If we keep believing those quotes that say the only way you become successful is by working harder, if we keep believing Gary Vee that workaholism is a badge of honor and that's the only way that we're going to succeed, if we keep believing that um success and life and freedom comes from working harder, then we're never actually going to get to the place where we let that go. And let me be clear, working harder is like saying work plus work equals freedom. Work plus work equals more work, friends. Let's be real clear about that. Work plus work equals more work. How do you actually stop working harder? Yeah, we get some structures in place that help change our life, but we start with the mindset that says, you know what? Let's dream about, what does freedom look like for me? Because the other thing too, freedom for us as Black women is not going to look the same as other people, because they haven't been the workhorse of America all of their life. They haven't had to be strong all their life. They've had the freedom to be vulnerable. So let's actually start taking some of those privileges. Let's actually start believing in our mind that we deserve to be vulnerable. We deserve to be feminine, that we deserve to not have to show up for everyone all the time. And the way that I had to start doing that, I had to start looking at literally what are the things that I do every day that I'm always showing up for someone else and I'm putting myself on the back burner. I know that's not super simple. It's not a simple thing. It's literally a minute to minute question. A minute, 2 minute question. Every time something comes up, and this is why I do Freedom Fridays. Because Freedom Friday is about every week looking at your schedule and seeing what the heck am I putting in my schedule that's probably for a bunch of other people and don't actually help me. Because that perpetuates this idea that I have to keep everything afloat, that I have to be strong for everybody. What does it look like to just be strong for me? So, ways that I actually start shifting away from living my life as if I have to be strong and actually practically and tangibly taking back my freedom to just be me. First, my mindset around it is that who am I? Who do I want to show up to be? And a lot of times when we ask people, when I ask one of my clients that question, it's like a deer in headlights. It feels like a pop quiz. And how can I show up and be me without my roles? Without my work, without being a mom, without being a sister. Yes, you are a mom, you are a sister, you are an aunt, you are an employee, you are those things. But who are you without those things? Let's get back to who are we without those things? Without those things, I am a sappy person. Can you tell? I'm quick to get emotional and passionate about something because yeah, that's just who I am. Okay. And I love that part of me. That's one of the things that I am without being a mom, an employee, and all of those things. Another thing, I am super encouraging. I love to see all of us, not just Black women. And listen, I will stop a Black woman on the street and give that woman kudos. I will look if I got to holler down the street, I don't care. Hey, I appreciate what you're doing. That's who I am. I am an encourager. I love reminding us to celebrate everything that makes us who we are, because that's what brings us back to the core of who we are. Okay. These are things that I am without my identity being strong, without my identity being in my job title. Another thing that I am a dreamer. Listen, if you tell me I want to make I want to paint the sky red, that seems like the most impossible thing. How are we going to get up to the sky and paint the sky red? I am that dreamer that will come up with a way for you to do that. And not only will I come up with a way for you to do it, I'll be like, okay, here's the strategy behind it, and here's how we do it. Okay. Those are three things that I know that I can describe myself without being strong, without defining myself by my work, without just being a mom or just being, I'm actually not a mom, but without being a business owner, without being an employee, without all of these titles that we try to take on to prove that we have worth. You are so much more than all of those things. And it comes back to you choosing for yourself, who would I be without those things? Hey, good morning, Nikki. How are you? I'm glad you could join this morning. So we're talking about, or I'm talking about, what does it look like to step away from this idea of being a strong Black woman and actually ask myself, who am I if I didn't identify that way? If I didn't make my job title the most important thing about me? Who am I? How do I show up? How do I enjoy? How do I settle into and rest in who I am without being more? Yes, good morning. So Elise said, let me put that up, Elise. It's hard, but a great goal for me. I want to separate me from my title and occupation. It is hard. It is so flipping hard to separate ourselves from what we do because we've been told for so long that that is the most important thing about us. But actually, there's so many more important. There's just the core of who we are is so much more important. Let me say it to you this way. If you woke up tomorrow and you had nerve damage and you cannot move your arms. And I know this is a little sad, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back around. So stay with me, okay? You had nerve damage. You could not move your arms. You had to be fed through a tube. All you could do is lay in a bed and blink your eyes. If you don't recognize that you are still a perfect and amazing, gosh, this makes me emotional. If you don't recognize that you are still in a perfect and amazing human without being able to do anything for anyone else in this moment, then you are missing just how much worth and value you have. You are missing it. And I want to bring you back to that because Elise, Elise, you are so much more than any job you will ever do, so much more than any impact that you will ever make, so much more important than any passion that you could have. And you didn't have to do anything for it. You literally don't have to do anything for it. You were born. That was it. That was the gift. Everything else on top of that is icing. You are the cake, my friend. Nikki, you are the cake. Anything more than just being born is beauty on top of that. So, how do we get back to that core of just who we are? You got to believe, you have to believe that if you could not do any of those things, that you have so much worth in everything that you do. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Um, so if that's the case, now let's say, okay, if yesterday you didn't have your limbs or any of those things, and you were able to really see that you were still worth it, because a lot of people would get back or go back and say, well, if I can't do anything, then I might as well just die. Lies, lies, lies. That's not true. Nikki on Instagram says, such a great reminder. Yes, we got to be reminded of this often. Thank you. Let's receive it, okay? Let's receive it. And Dr. Marie on LinkedIn says we need more of you. Come on, let's keep talking about it. Let's all get together and be this, okay? Okay, so now we've got our limbs, we got use of our limbs back. Um, we have this core understanding that who we are has worth, has value because of who we are. Then who are we? That's how we start. Let's start putting that into words. If you could pick just three characteristics I want you to think about. I'm an encourager. I'm silly, I'm strong-willed, I am, what are those kind of words? Google it right now. If you got a second, what are some, do it in another window because I want you to stay on the live, but if you're watching, do it. But I want, those are the words that are going to help you reconnect back to who you are, because none of those words have anything to do with your job title or the roles that you do in this world. Elise, girl, let's talk about some characteristics for you. Come on. What are three characteristics that come to mind for you? If you can, put them in the chat. Nikki, put them in the chat. Dr. Marie, put them in the chat. What are three characteristics of who you are? I know, Elise, you have such a joy. You radiate. How do I want to describe this? You radiate this excitement of, let's just be together and enjoy life. I loved times when, like, me, you, and Nyosha, it was less about, we were just having fun. Like, and you were like so into it and uh free. Like free in that. And I want you to try it. Like when we get back to the three things that make us who we are, if that joyful, radiant glow of you, if we can bring those three things into everything that we do, we can live like we have so much more worth than what our title brings us. And it radiates into everything that we do. What do you think? Tell me. Does that make sense? Am I crazy? Am I shoveling crap here? Because this has been what saved my life. Oh, I love it. On Instagram, Dr. Marie said, I am defiant, persisting, and caring. Come on. You gonna make me cry. Just come on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I see it. You're like, listen, there's nothing that's going to keep me from being who I am. There's nothing going to keep me from living how I choose to live. These are the things that are actually who we are, not our job title, not Black excellence, not being a strong Black woman. None of those stereotypes or archetypes of who we need to be are true. This is who we actually are. This is who we actually are. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing, Aurora. Oh my gosh. I wish that I could show everything on the screen. Oh, here's another one. Elise said, thank you so much. That was very nice. It touched my heart. Elise, we've been friends. I know you. I can talk about who you are. Come on. Like, I can show up with you and say, I know Elise loves to get silly. I know that we love to explore the world. You are an adventurer, my friend. I know that you get excited about a lot more things than work. Actually, that this is the thing. We are so much more than work. So all the words that we can come back to. Oh, and I love it. Yes. I'm caring, I'm resilient, and I'm passionate. You are. You are. Again, work is not the most important thing about us. Hey, Kathy Co. Thanks for joining this morning. This is a conversation about letting go of this aspiration. And it's I don't think any here's the thing. None of us have aspired to be a strong Black woman, but for whatever reason that stereotype has been put on us, and this conversation is about how we move past that stereotype and let that go. How we get back to the core of who we are and settle into that, knowing that that is taking back our freedom, because being a strong Black woman is costing us our freedom. It's costing us our ability to show up and just be happy. And it's less happy is too broad. It's costing us our ability to be fulfilled and content in who we are today, in the lives that we live today. And I want to get us back to that. I think that's what freedom is. So I was just talking through three different like a little bit of steps of how I've been able to make that shift. And the first one was really, because I don't think I was explicit, but the first step was really getting back to, if I literally could not move any of my limbs, and I had to, and all I could do was blink, eat through a feeding tube, which I know that sounds like really, that sounds a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but it's not about that. It's about, if I couldn't do anything, if I couldn't do a job, if I couldn't do any of these roles, and all I could do was just be me, could I still see value in me? And that's getting back to this very core foundational self-love, that my worth doesn't come from anything that I do. It comes from who I am. And so we were talking about, well, who are we? And that's the second step. If we can finally get to the basics of knowing this is who that I am worthy, that I have worth without being able to do anything, it's just because of who I am, then who am I? And the ladies were starting to talk about um who three characteristics of who we are. Nikki just shared hers. Nikki, I wish I could put yours on the screen. Instagram don't love me like that. So I'm gonna read them out. Nikki says that she is passionate, empathetic, and courageous. Passionate, empathetic, and courageous. That was harder to think of than I thought. Let me tell you this. Give yourself grace. I work with so many of my clients. This is not easy because we're not meant to think about this. We are usually told to talk about ourselves from our job title, from being a mom, from being all of these different roles. But we've never been really bred to think about just who are we without any of those other things. And there's nothing wrong with being a mom, an employee, a sister, a lover, a wife. There's nothing wrong with those things. But if we get so caught up in those roles and we lose the core of who we are, then it feels like our dreams, our being is slipping away. And we have to get back to that by knowing these things. We get back to that by knowing the characteristics of who we are, by knowing our why, by knowing our values and knowing how we live them out. Like those are the things that I talk about in my coaching program, helping us step away from all of these things of what we feel like we should be and just getting back to who we are inside of ourselves. Passionate, empathetic, and courageous. Yes, Nikki. Yes. I love it. It shows up, and when we keep those things in the core of us, it shows up in how we speak to others, how we move our bodies, how we dance. And you know, you a good dancer, Nikki. Girl, I love watching you dance. Come on. Like all of these things, when we get back to these core words and we can recite those to ourselves every day, let's make these our affirmation. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with affirmations. When you just pick these really broad affirmations and you don't think about really how you live these things, it takes away some of the power. But when you can look at I am passionate and see how that shows up, you can see the encourager in me coming out right now. When I tell you I'm an encourager, I'm a dreamer, and the things that I tell you about me, you're like, oh yeah, girl, I see it. We want to be living those things out every day because that is the core of who we are. That is the beauty of who you are. That's how people experience your light. This is making your light tangible for you. No longer is it just this thing that happens in the background of your mind. It now is the forefront of you. It now becomes the weapon that every day, when the world tells you you are no more than a statistic, you are no more than a stereotype, you have no worth, this is the weapon that comes up like a knife and cuts that ish down. There's no space for it. Hey, Black Girl World Traveler. I'm just on here getting excited and passionate about how we move away from being a strong Black woman and actually get back to the core of who we are. And you know all about that. We talk about that all the time, my friend. We were just talking about what are the three characteristics of who we are. Do you remember yours? Girl, if you remember yours, put them in the chat. I want to shout them out because they're amazing. Teen over on LinkedIn said, yes, yes, come on. We're getting back to the core of who we are because it's not about being strong. We are not strong because we want to be. We've been strong because we had to be, because there was no other choice. There was no other way for us to survive. And that started back in slavery. Like, we're shedding that. This is how we're healing from it. We're getting back to the core of these are the three things that I know at the end of the day, if I could do nothing else, it's not about what I do, it's who I am, it's what I choose to be. That if we know these three words, we can move away from that stereotype and actually live fully as who we are. Y'all, you see, I get excited about this because when we live from this, getting a healing burnout, um, not letting our job get to us, redefining who we are, choosing a different way to live our lives, all of those things that have kept us stuck. It's so we have the weapons, we have the tools. I'm not going to say it's easier because but we now have the weapons and the tools that allow us to shift our life from being bogged down to actually living this life of passion. And I'm not saying that a fulfilling life is easier. I'm not saying that a fulfilling life doesn't have its challenges, but I'm saying that feeling of being uninspired, that feeling of being bogged down, that feeling of the weight that drags us in the mud, we can we can let that go, because now we've got our inspiration back. We've got the core of who we are back. We've got our inner passion, not this who we should be, but we've been connected back to who we are. Over on LinkedIn, Teen says, I love your energy. It's infectious. I'm going to figure out my 3 words today. Yes. Yes, Teen. Do it, girl. Yes. Come on, girl, especially because we just talked about, and you need to bring out all that Nigerian. I love it. Listen, Teen, I can tell you, you are so deeply passionate. You are, how do I want to put this word? Because after having, Teen and I just did a collaboration over on, my YouTube channel, and we talked about this idea about how to very tangibly get paid more. Black women should be getting paid more, because here's the thing: we got more education and all of these other things, and those are not, again, not the core of who we do. But if we're going to do those things, we at least need to get paid for it. So, Teen, in that conversation, the things that I saw come out about you, not only is it passion, because all of us can say that we're passionate, but I want to go a little bit deeper than that. Teen, I saw you have this audacity. Ah, yes, audacity to say, listen, to sit here and just keep doing what you think. I'm not about to just let you walk over me, okay? Yes, audacity needs to be one of your words, T. Another one could be, let me think. You're also a really great negotiator. I can see it just even in our conversation. And the power and skill of this this ability to come to a table, and so many of us Black women have it, but Teen, you are able to bring it out and how you help people get paid more. This ability to be able to come to the table and get what you need out of this conversation without pushing someone else down, but also helping them win as well. That's what I see in that negotiation that you do. Um, y'all, can you see? It's not about being strong. It's not about being Black excellence. It's not about doing any should. It's not about accomplishing the American dream. Those are byproducts of us first showing up and knowing that no matter if we did absolutely nothing, that we have so much worth, and that what does that worth look like? That worth, I'm gonna go back because they're so good. Dr. Marie is defiant, persistent, and caring. Nikki is passionate, empathetic, and courageous. Elise is caring, resilient, and passionate. Um, Teen is audacious. A teen said someone called me her audacity coach last week. Come on. Yes. Receive it, ladies. Receive it. So I have gotten completely off of my whole outline. But at the end of the day, I think you got the point. I'm not going to keep ranting about this. What I want you to do, okay, you've got your 3 characteristics of who you are. If you've had the chance to put them in the chat, come on, because I'm gonna shout them out. You know, Kathy Co, if you have a chance to shout them out, let me know. Black Girl World Traveler, if you have a chance to shout out your 3 characteristics of who you are, put them in the chat. Eye of the Beholder, dot beauty. We're on here talking about this idea of shifting, this not just an idea, the action of shifting from being this strong Black woman and taking back our ability to just be who we are and find that strength, because it is costing us our freedom to be that strong Black woman. We're talking about shifting away from that so we can take our freedom back. Okay. And so the way that we are doing that, we're pulling out 3 characteristics of who we are, not what we do. This is not about our job title. This is not about the roles that we hold. We're getting back to the three characteristics of who we are. And I just listed out some of the amazing ones from so many amazing women. Because here's the thing, when we get to the core, when we can put the words of who we are, let me say that another way. I said it backwards. If we can put who we are into words, it's no longer this vague, broad idea that we can't touch. When we can't put it into words, it's like trying to grab onto smoke. But when we actually put it into words, it becomes tangible. And anything tangible we can use. It now becomes a weapon that we can cut through all the things, all the stereotypes of what people outside expectations tell us we should be, and actually get back to who we are. The weapon of who we are. We cut through all of that and just show up clearly as who we are. So that's what we've been putting in the chat today. Three characteristics of who we are, because it gets us away from the shoulds. It gets us away from these empty identities of our job title and who we think we have to be. And we get back to the core of, I am worthy without a job title. I am worthy if I'm not able to do anything. And I can just get down to, this is who I am. Integrative wellness. Hey, Alyssa, welcome. I'm glad you could join. Cafe Co. Seminary said, I struggle with coming up with tangible words. I understand. I get it. Let me be clear, y'all. This ain't easy because for so long, we've been known as a colorist. We've been known as a trend director. We've been known as an artist. We've been known as all of these things. And let me tell you, none of those things are bad. None of those things are wrong, but you're so much more without those things. Girl. First of all, you have this silly energy that pulls anybody in. I don't even think I'm that silly, but I could be silly with you anytime. Anytime. You have this superpower of seeing past all of the muck that's going on in people's lives and seeing the core of who they are. Okay? We can put, I'm describing it, we can put it into one word, we can make it concise in another time. That's what I do in my program. In my program, what I do is I give you 2-3 pages of words, and then you can pull out the words, so it makes it a little easier. Right here, I know I don't have the list on the screen, but I'm gonna help you pull out some words. And here's the thing, if nothing else, one of your words, seminary, is creative. And it's not just creative in the art that you do, it's creative in the way that you approach life. It's creative in the way that you see other people. It's creative in the way of how you come at every single thing that you do. It's a core of what you do. Even if you could not use your hands to create another pot, you are still creative. This is what I want us to come back to, you guys. It's not about what we do. I promise you. It's about who we are. You are also seminary. You're encouraging. Jackson. Most people would spank Jackson's butt all the time. You are so good at seeing past that and encouraging that girl to grow. You are great at exhortation. Exhortation meaning that you are great at helping someone become exactly who they are meant to be. Okay? Pull them words out. Those are a couple to get you started. Over on LinkedIn, Teen says, I love that you can see these in everyone you connect with. You are a gift. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do think that's one of my superpowers. It's one of the things I love doing in every single coaching call. You guys, because I love being able to help us get past these shoulds, and actually really get down to the core of, it's not about who you should be. God already made you amazing. And I'm going to come back to this analogy. I said it at the beginning. At the beginning, God created you. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I hope you got your sound on because I want you to hear this. God created you. He spoke these words over you. He spoke audacious, loving, and free. He spoke the words defiant, persistent, and caring. And he thought of you. He thought specifically of you. He spoke the words passionate, empathetic, courageous. He spoke the words caring, resilient, and passionate. And then what happened? The world came and it started throwing mud on you. And it said, you should be this. And it covered your right foot. It said you should be that. And it covered your left foot. And then before you know it, it just kept throwing mud. Should. And before you knew it, you were covered head to toe in mud of all of these things that the world has told you you should be. And it's bogged you down. Not only that, you're covered in mud and that mud hardened. It hardened and it kept you moving. This is what makes you feel stuck. This is what makes you feel uninspired. This is what makes you feel like you don't know what to do next. This is what keeps you from finding that fulfillment, that joy. This is what keeps you burnt out, literally. But today, by choosing the words of who you are, what we're doing, listen, right now, I'm in front of you. And you're inside of this shell of should. It's dark, okay? I want you to imagine right now, I'm knocking on that wood and I'm starting to carve out the eyes, okay? These three characteristics we're carving out the eyes so you can start to see. We're moving that away, okay? And now we're moving away that mud. We're chipping away that mud and we're opening the space for you to become free again by getting away, by pulling away all of those things that you should be. You should not be. You don't have to be perfectionist. You don't have to be Black excellence. You don't have to work 10 times harder than everybody else to be seen. You don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to you don't have to do anything but be you. Be your passionate, courageous self. People will shit all over you. Stephanie just said, people will shit all over you. That is so true. And it should so much all over you. It has covered you up and hardened you. Girl, we getting rid of that. We are getting rid of that. Let's chip away at it. 3 characteristics of who you are. That's all we're starting with today. If you're having a hard time doing that, I'm gonna shout out some of the women, some of the other women. Take from them, pull them, use them. Kathy Co says, thank you. I'm about to pull out all those words. Yes, girl, pull them out. Use them. This is the weapon to cut through everything that tells you what you should be and actually say, no. You don't get to tell me what I should be. This is who I actually am. This is who I am. Not that, this. Again, Elise said, let me get back to it. I'm caring, I'm resilient, I'm passionate. Nikki said, I'm passionate, empathetic, and courageous. Teen, we pulled out audacity for you. Seminaire, we pulled out creative. Alyssa, you are so caring and attentive. If you don't already know that, even just doing your free programs, you choose to be attentive and listening to what people, attentive to who they are needing to be in that moment and who they're trying to be and helping them get past what's keeping them from getting that. So attentive. If you're having a hard time, if I don't know you, girl, then we should get to know you because I'm gonna help you pull out these 3 words. This is a huge start to pulling off all of that mud of who you should be and actually getting to who you are. I was pulling out everybody else's words because I want y'all to have ideas. Where's Dr. Marie's at? Defiant, persistent, caring. Listen, you guys, like, if there's no other passion that I have, my passion is all of us getting past who we should be and actually just getting back to the core of who we are. Because the core of who you are is so beautiful, so needed. It is exactly what your what your light is. It is the tangent. When you can get these words, we're getting to the tangibility of what your light is. And that's what allows you to use it and get past all of the things that are keeping you from being that full, free, um, it's deeper than free. When you get past the shoulds and get back to the core of who you are, this is what gets you back to uh spreading your wings. I need a word for it. I need more than there's so many analogies around it, but all of these things that all of this more that we've been looking for, this is the start of what's going to get you there. Now, if you've been having a hard time doing this, um, then we should talk. I have a program. It's called Meant for More. It's a 6 month coaching program, and it's all about getting out of these shoulds, all about letting go of our job title. And it's okay that we have all of these roles, but before that, who are we? And how do we use that to become this free and fulfilled woman that we've always wanted to be? Because right now our jobs are burning us out, they're bogging us down. All of the shoulds are hardening up around us, and they're keeping us stuck. And I want to help us move away from that. So if you are interested in hearing and joining that program, I'm gonna have to figure out how to drop the link in all of these locations. You just give me 1 second. Here, actually, I will read it out. I'll spell it out for you. The link is meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com. meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com, because this program is about meant for more. We are meant for more than just our job title. We are meant for more than just being a strong Black woman. We are meant for more than all the things that someone has told us we should be. And it comes from not looking at all the things outside of us, but actually getting back to wiping off all of that mud and getting into the core of who we are, and then shifting our life to prioritize using that to become that woman. That's what we're about here. So again, if you're interested in joining this program, go ahead and check out the page for it, meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com. On there, I invite you to do a 15-minute um exit plan call, because we're gonna exit that strong Black woman. We're gonna exit all of those shoulds. So let's talk about what it looks like to make that transition together. Um, but check it out. This is the start to something beautiful. You guys, oh, there's a couple more comments. Oh Lord, let me get back to them. Teen on LinkedIn says, I love that you can see these things. Okay, we talked about that one. Um, Teen also says, my 6-year-old daughter is watching and she's riveted. Come on, beautiful girl. Can we imagine? Oh, Teen, thank you so much for saying that. Can you imagine what it would look like for your 6-year-old daughter to be able to say, Mom, I need to be an astronaut because I'm caring, courageous, and passionate. Come on. Your daughter, come on, guys. She's learning how to use her light from 6 years old forward. That's what we're doing. And Black women, we're switching this idea that it's about your job title. Your job title is just your job title. It ain't that important. You are way more important than that. And this is what we're going to help bring out of you in this program. Yes, I go a lot deeper into that. This is the start of it, but I want you to know, and I want you to start feeling that today. Start receiving that today. Start enacting that today. Start making your light tangible today, because that beauty that you have, that is the light that the world is feeding off of. But now you need to be feeding off of it, filled up by it. Let them get your overflow, not your foundation, okay? All right, y'all. I could go on and on and on about this. Um, Aurora Crystal just joined. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. I really can't go on and on about this. If in addition to checking out Meant for More, please follow me. Let's connect. I would love to continue to have this conversation with you. If you're new here, oh, I forgot to say that. I didn't even introduce myself. Lord have mercy. Um, oh, Teen said her 6-year-old daughter, she is curious, kind, and hilarious. Come on, beautiful girl. Yes. Come on. I love that. Let's remind her every single day, girl, this is your light. So never stop being curious. Never stop being kind. Never stop being hilarious. Use it every single day. It is more important than any job you will ever have. It is more important than anything you will ever do. It is more important than any role you will ever have. Be curious, kind, and hilarious every single day. Ah, okay. I keep getting distracted. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay. All right. What was I saying? I have no idea. Y'all forgive me. I got so excited and forgot what I was saying. I don't remember. Well, let's wrap it up this way. Check out the program meant for more.yourdreamstrategist.com. Let's connect on an exit plan call so we can start talking about what it looks like for us to work together to help you exit this bogged down, this life of shoulds. Um, oh, thank you, Aurora. So I was talking about my offer. It's a 6-month coaching program. We get into not just talking about who you are, but we talk about your why, we talk about your values, how do you live them out and make them tangible. Then we get into, okay, a part of being bogged down by the shoulds and all the different things is that, we forget how to dream. I'm gonna help you connect back to that too. And then from that, we start shifting your life. We start making this core of who you are, your life. And that's a beautiful thing. Um, I want to keep that simple because it is that simple. It's hard, but the guided process is what makes it simple. Because if it was if it was easy, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying I make this process simple for you. So, if you can't figure out what words you are, I got you. If you can't figure out what you want your life to be 10 years from now, I got you. You're not sure how you're going to make this shift. I got you. So make sure you go ahead and check the program out. Meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com. All right. So here's the thing about not taking action on this. I would love to say that you can just stay. But the thing is, you if you think of yourself as a flower, that bud has been waiting to blossom for so long. If I put that into words, into real life words. You've been at this job and you've tried to detach yourself from all of the drama at work. You've tried to detach yourself from the politics. You've tried to, go from, you tried to get out of the full time aspect of it and get into a contractor, but you're still feeling this uninspired, stuck, bogged down feeling. If we don't take the time to take the action and start making this shift, you're going to come to the end of next year. And I know that you made that vision board because you wanted to change your life, but that change is not going to come if we don't start taking actions to get back to the core of who we are. Hey, I need money. Thanks for joining. We're talking about um this shift for Black women to move from being a strong Black woman. And specifically at this moment, we're talking about what is the cost of not taking the leap to actually make this shift. Excuse me, my nose is a little stuffy. If we don't take the leap to make the shift, nothing's going to be enough. Because here's the thing. I totally approve of detaching yourself from your work. I approve of moving yourself to be a contractor so you don't have to deal with the politics and the drama at work. But if you have not reignited and re-inspired your dreams, you're not pushing it far enough to actually truly make that shift and truly come to the other side of freedom. You haven't allowed your biggest tool to be used. And that's getting back to, what do you want from life and how do you build it? We've got to get back to that. I don't want you to stay here. I don't want you to stay here. I'll say that. Um the choice to just settle for detaching yourself from work is not enough. So let me help you take that the next step further. Let me help you decide what that next forward looks like, and let me help you make it real. Let's become that woman. So I was introducing myself. That's what it was. So after all of this talking, I haven't even told you who I am. I am Rashida, and I call myself your dream strategist because I help Black women reinvent who they are without work as the core. And when work is not the core, we get to get back to who we are and we get to become that woman. We get to make that the forefront of everything we do. It is literally the blossom of a flower finally opening, and you're like, dang, that was so pretty. That is what we're doing. Oh, I love this. Mimi got on. Hey, hey. So happy you had a chance to join. This topic is so on point for Juneteenth. I'm happy to hear that. It is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy ditch this strong Black woman trope phase. Come on. Happy ditch it. Happy Freedom Day. Happy Freedom Day, girl. Woo! Girl, you just got me excited. Come on, Mimi. Day. And this is the day Black women are taking back their freedom. We're shifting. We're shifting. No longer that strong Black woman. No longer that strong Black woman because it doesn't define us. It's not who we should be. That was never who we were called to be. We're so much, it's so much more deep than that. It's in us. It's in us. So, Mimi, I like to get excited. I keep saying I'm gonna end this. I'm finally gonna end it. Um, if you didn't get to watch the beginning of this, all of these replays are going to be up and available. But at the end of the day, here's what I need you to know. You don't have to continue to be a strong Black woman, and I can help you change that. I want you to start that process right here, right now, by deciding, number one, if you were never able to move your body again, if you were never able to do again, good morning, Marissa. So glad that you could join. We're just getting into, I'm just going to summarize everything that we just talked about, especially for Happy Freedom Day. Juneteenth is Happy Freedom Day as far as I'm concerned. And Black women are taking back their freedom this morning. Okay. So, how we're doing that, we're stepping away from that strong Black woman and we're taking action to actually think through these things, okay? First and foremost, if you could never use your limbs again, recognize that you are still worthy. You didn't have to do anything to get that. That's number one. I want you to really receive that. And that's why I gave you that illustration earlier. If you can never use your limbs, if you could never do anything but blink your eyes and be fed through a feeding tube, you are still worthy. Okay? Number one. Number two, three characteristics of who you are. Three characteristics, not your job title, not the roles of who you are in other people's lives, your characteristics. Who are you? And we've had some amazing people call out what their characteristics are in their chat, okay? In the chat today. So if you're looking for some ideas, here's my three. I am encouraging. I am a dreamer. I am all about taking risks, this adventure in me, because it helps me grow. Those are three things for me. I'm an adventurer, a dreamer, and encouraging. Okay. So if you're looking for some ideas, let that get you started. And then I want you to use those. I want you to use those as the tools that help you every day cut through everything that the world tells you you should be and just be you. Because that's all you have to be. That is literally all you have to be. And then when you're ready to take it the next step further and you're ready to build that, become this woman that's the forefront of who you are, rather than your job title, rather than being burnt out, rather than trying to be black excellence, or be trying to find this version of the American dream and success. When you're like, you know what, I'm finally ready to stop doing that, and you're ready to actually become and emerge as this woman that her identity is about her, not about your job title, then I would love to work with you. I have an amazing program, a 6-month coaching program called Meant for More. And I'm going to help you walk through the steps to make that shift. It's not easy, but I make it simple because I did it. I'm telling you from experience. Listen, y'all, I'm telling you these things because I was that woman. I was the one that learned since I was a kid to be uber responsible, to be reliable, to be the workhorse. I was bred to be the workhorse until finally one day I said, you know what, this is just for the birds. It's killing me. It was literally killing me. I was getting high blood pressure. I was gaining weight. I was having hormonal issues. And I was like, you know what? I can't. I can't. I can't. I literally cannot. I got to figure out how to shift this. And here's the thing, I knew before then that I needed to make the shift, but that was what pushed me over the edge and actually helped me start making some huge changes. And so the process that I take you through in my program Meant for More is recreating. And here's the thing, it's not just me. I have clients right now who have made this shift. I've worked with over 150 people who have made this shift out of these things of who we should be into who we becoming, into really becoming who we actually are and living that our life from that perspective, so that nothing, the things that now burn us out, and the things that used to keep us stuck, uninspired, they're gone, because now we're living from the inspiration of who we are. And so I would love for you to check out that program. It's at meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com. Y'all keep jumping on and I keep talking more. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love this. In the chat, we got people connecting. Oh, I already had that up there. Marissa says, yes, come on. I love this. I get so excited and then I forget to come back to the chat. I'm at the chat now. Um, oh yay, Mimi and Marissa know each other. Good morning, y'all. Oh, because right, you guys just recently did a live together. It was beautiful. There were 4 of you on that call. So many amazing Black women, and all of us together here are taking back our ability to show up and be us. No shoulds. No shoulds allowed. We're tired of those shoulds. Y'all got a lot going on. I love it. I love it. Okay, you guys. With that being said, I've given you everything that I plan to give you this morning. I'm going to shut it down. I have enjoyed talking with you this morning. Make sure that you follow and connect with me here on these platforms. Also, make sure you keep using your 3 characteristics of who you've decided you are without work as the core. And then make sure you head over to join my program, Meant for More yourdreamstrategist.com. The program is called Meant for More, and it's at the link meantformore.yourdreamstrategist.com. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day.